I am a very lucky man. I get to spend a big chunk of my working life asking very clever people to share their wisdom with me. So right now, for example, I'm in the middle of a project that pools the knowledge of over 70 people who are all experts in different aspects of the pharmaceutical innovation ecosystem. It's fascinating work, and even after 40 years in the industry, I'm learning a lot of new things. But perhaps the most transferable lesson is not new, but a reminder of something that I learned a long time ago. And I think this lesson might be useful to you, so stay with me and I'll try to make it worth your time. When the experts I interview begin to talk, they almost always start with some things that they believe are important but obvious. And when they begin, they don't actually answer the question I've asked them. Instead, they give a context to the answer I'm about to be given. These framing issues, as they are called, are very useful, and they allow the interviewee to get into her stride. In my current project about the prices of innovative medicines, for example, two framing issues occur almost every time. First, they say that they are only going to restrict themselves to advanced therapies because that's now the major focus of pharmaceutical innovation. And to this I nod and add it to my notes under a heading called Confirmatory assertions. Second, they say that they're going to take a global perspective because the industry is truly global. Again, I nod, but I put this under the test assertions headings in my notes. So let me explain why I put these two different statements under two different headings, because I think it will help you next time you need to understand a complex situation. So firstly, I put things in a confirmatory when the assertion is already supported by other evidence. So for example, I don't have to look far to confirm that advanced therapies from RNA silencers to gene therapy to antibody drug conjugates are very important in pharmaceutical innovation today. But I put things under the test heading when other data seems to contradict the interviewee and I need her to support why they think it's obvious. So in this case, when she said the industry was global, I know that pharmaceutical innovation is concentrated in clusters. Boston, the Bay Area, San Diego are the obvious US hubs that dominate the industry, but there are others in other parts of the world, of course. So when my interviewee asserts globalization, she's flagged up a topic for me to investigate further because it isn't completely in line with other information. Now, my experience has taught me that test assertions are a way to dig for the gold of a genuinely new and useful piece of knowledge. So before I generalize that lesson, let me tell you where that particular case led to me. I followed through the Biotech is global statement with questions about why it was so concentrated and what were the consequences of that. And in this and several other interviews, two streams of answers emerged. The first is that although we can communicate globally, handshakes still matter. So do shared beers and the confidence that if a business fails, you can get another job without moving home. It turns out that those sorts of factors and other sociological factors help create and sustain clusters like Boston, for example. The second stream of answers was that this hub model has its issues. So even in Boston, investors struggle to find good science to buy into. It's like a dance with more men than women, said one of the VCs. Innovators have the opposite answer. It takes too much time to pitch to many investors who only rarely follow through. It would be better if they could filter out the time wasters first, as one scientist said to me. Now, taken together, these answers point to what Darwinian scientists would call an evolutionary lag. So biotech's networking capabilities and processes have evolved from a localized hub world, and they are struggling to adapt to a global world. Now, that's the sort of insight you don't see in a textbook, at least not until I finished writing it. So, the limitations of biotech clusters are interesting, but they're just background to what I'm trying to tell you today. What I've learned is that in complex situations, it's easy to concentrate on the obvious facts and to reach self-evident conclusions. But if you want to get true insights, that is the useful but non-obvious things that no one else has said already, look for the non-sequiturs, that is, the things that don't follow on from what's already been said. And you can hear these every day of the week at work. So when a brand manager says his product is unique, but is still under price pressure, well, that doesn't follow. So ask more questions. When your HR people say that the people in our company are the best in the industry, but you pay the industry average, that doesn't follow. So ask some more questions. When your strategy is to achieve more by spending less than the competitor, then that doesn't follow. So ask some more questions. Whenever you hear things like that don't follow, dig deeper. And that's where you'll find the golden nuggets of new information. So just like me with my pharmaceutical innovations ecosystem study, you'll learn something useful from the things that didn't make sense. Thank you.